Pamela. We love you, Pamela.
Hi, Pamela.
All right, so she's a true Bajan traveler. She stopped into Barbados for a quick break before she heads off again. Let me say a special good morning to our Bajan afar today, Pamela Stanford, who is usually residing in China. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Tisha. Good morning, Barbados. Thank you for having me.
Good to have you with us. Now, talk to us about what took you, first of all the way to China.
Okay, I've been in China 5 years now. I teach English in China. What got me going to China? Well, I have big dreams and big ideas of what I always wanted to do in life. And, my island is very small, although beautiful, and I just wanted to see the world. So when I had an opportunity to go to China, I just took it, to go there to teach.
What's teaching English in a place like China like?
Well, first disclaimer, I don't know any Chinese whatsoever. All I know is ni hao. But the students I teach university, so the students have some knowledge of English, some little knowledge. I also teach business English and a subject called speech and debate, so not just English. So I always tell people that, if you are in your own country and you're deaf and dumb, you still have to communicate with people, so not knowing language is like not being able to, speak or hear, so it's not as difficult as you think. There is technology for that. I use my Google Translator, to communicate whatever I want. When I'm talking to people, when I'm talking to my students, I use PowerPoint, I use body language. Most Chinese students can read English very well and they can write English very well. So it's a speaking aspect of the English that they have difficulty with. So far, I have not really have any great challenges.
What about you and how you're acclimatizing? I'm interested in hearing that you only know Nui Hao. We're in the same boat. I only know Ni Hao too, but I'm here in Barbados, and there you are teaching the students. So how do you navigate that space? I know you said you use your Google Translate, but you're there 5 years. So how do you navigate that space not being able to speak the language?
You can find some Chinese that can speak English. When I went to China, I was in a big city, an international city. So you can find lots of Chinese that can speak English in that city, which is called Shenzhen, which is next to Hong Kong. So I didn't really had great challenges in that city. But after that, I moved to a smaller city called Zhangjiajie because I wanted to be more immersed into the Chinese culture because in Shenzhen, the international city, it was like walking down the streets of Toronto. It just didn't seem Chinese for me. So I just wanted to like get into the local culture, be around more authentic Chinese, and see if I can force myself to learn Chinese. But it's so difficult. There in the smaller city, yes, you'll find less people speaking, but I always have my students to navigate around with me. When they're not there, I would use my translator. If I go to a restaurant, they have pictures, I would point to it and hope for the best when I'm eating. I just go with the flow of life.
Did you just say you would point at the pictures and hope for the best?
Yes, yes,
It's so funny. Oh
yes.
my goodness. Listen. So I know that you've taken the opportunity. You said you love to travel the world. So you've
Mhm.
taken the opportunity to really be a globe trotter. Talk to us about your travels to Africa as well.
Okay, so first I've been to over 50 countries around the world. Um, Recently I've been to Africa, East Africa. I traveled to Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, and Rwanda. I had a fantastic time in these countries. I'm an entrepreneur first and foremost. So I went to Africa to look for any business opportunities. there, and also to find, any opportunities that I can think of, ideas that I can also bring back to my country, Barbados, to implement. Um, because I don't ever forget my country wherever I go. Being in Kenya, Rwanda, Tanzania, and all the other East African countries I've been in, I realize how cheaper it is than being here in my island, Barbados. um, the people there are so very friendly, and welcoming, especially to me as a Barbadian. For example, Rwanda, from time I landed and they heard that I'm from Barbados, they was like, "Oh, our president, was in your country. Barbados is very beautiful. Welcome, welcome." And Kenya, the same thing. um, so I had a fantastic time. I saw many opportunities there for business that also other Bajans can go there and invest in. Imagine you can get land in these countries for like 5,000 US dollars for even like a half acre or acre of land. Depends on where you are. The bigger cities are more expensive, but you can just go outside of the city and you can find land for that price. So you can get into any field you want to, in tourism, agriculture, whatever area you want in business, you can get into there in Africa.
Wow, that's wonderful, and we know that there are a lot of connections that we're working on, both in airlift and particularly
Yes,
in pharmaceuticals and some very other interesting areas. But for you, as a global traveler or globe trotter, you mentioned how expensive Barbados can be as opposed to some of the other places you have been. But what are some of the stark differences that you've seen as you've traveled across the globe that might have been a little more difficult to acclimatize to as a Barbadian, given that you're coming from our particular culture?
yes. Some African men, they want more than one wife. So, you know,
How is that different from Barbados?
did well, Barbados, we can't do it. It's illegal. But there, it's yes, but yeah, it's not very different in terms that in Africa it is legal, but here is illegal. As I said before, the prices. I can get a Uber to take me, say, for 15 minutes drive for like less than $2 US. I can't do that here in Barbados. I can buy land cheaper. I can buy apartments cheaper. So many things I can navigate cheaper. I was looking into, because in China I source products for the Caribbean market, and I want to do the same thing there. So being in Africa, I was able to talk to people, connect with people to also expand that business there, bringing products from China over to Africa on a whole, not just East Africa market. So I was seeing, it's much cheaper to ship from China to Africa than to ship to the Caribbean.
All right. So these business opportunities that you're seeing that you've talked about, how do you think we should approach being able to maybe start the process of capitalizing on many of these opportunities that you've seen maybe in the Asian countries and now on the African continent?
But I would tell you to do your research. I'm here. You can also reach out to me. I'm happy to help anyone at any time, answer any questions for you. Next year I want to take a group to Africa while I'm on vacation, because I will be on vacation around um, August and September. So I get 2 months in the summer. So I will head back to Kenya. So I'm thinking about taking a group to Uganda, Kenya, and Rwanda. So if anyone is interested, in going with me, they can, come on board.
All right,
And
that's truly exciting. And of course, we're excited to see some of these wonderful photos that you shared with us of your trips.
yes, when I travel, I like to immerse myself in the local culture. I like to be a local for whatever time I'm there. I don't go to tourist sites really or anything like that. I like to go to villages. I like to, see the people's way of life, talk to the real ground people that are on the ground, find out what's going on there, because you want to know the country better than the people that they're on the ground. So I spend a lot of time with the locals, getting to know them, finding out what their country is all about in terms of their economics, their business climate, whatever, because, just going into a country to invest blindly is not smart, so you must find out as much as you can about this country before you invest your money into it. So it's still a work in progress. I'm also working with some women who are vulnerable women. I always had this vision, I should say, of working with women who want to do their own business or already started their own business, and to help them to get their products to the local market in their country and also to the international market, because my area is really in marketing. So I've been working with some women who make products, and I'm hoping to get it out there to the international market so that these women, these vulnerable women, can make some money for their family. So you would have disability women, you might have teenage pregnancies, you may have women who, their husbands or boyfriends or whatever just ran off and leave them, with their kids, and there's no one to help them or anything like that. So I am also working with these groups in both Kenya and Rwanda. I want to unify countries together, and I just don't want to look at one particular country in Africa, but if I can work with many as possible, I want to be able to do it.
All right. I want to thank you so much, Pamela Stanford. We
Thank you.
most certainly would love to be able to talk to you a whole lot more. Most certainly to figure out where all of this really started in terms of wanting to connect with the world. Continue to share your travels with us, and we most certainly will continue to live vicariously through your photos and videos and enjoy it. Travel safely, and we look forward to hearing more about that summer trip that you're making to the continent.
Thank you very much, teacher, and thank you, Barbados.